From the wonderful city of San Antonio, Texas, Tanja joins us. Great to see you.
Thank you so much. Likewise.
Tanja, you came from Serbia 17 years ago. So when you were a young child, you saw your country go through two wars. Do you remember the Yugoslav Civil War? And take us back to, that time in your life.
Absolutely, I do, because I was born in Yugoslavia. So when people ask me where I'm from, I know that it changed so many times the name to Serbia, Montenegro, to Serbia alone. But I was born in Yugoslavia, so I consider myself Yugoslavian. And I actually remember absolutely everything that was taking place. And now that you put things together, and if I wasn't asked questions, I would not remember certain things, but it's incredible how many things you do remember once you start talking.
So take us back to your memories of the Civil War in Yugoslavia.
I do remember, it's usually the bad energy that you feel and a lot of concern. I was 5 years old when I first became aware of problems in the country, money problems, then because we were under embargo, we could not get oil, flour, sugar. So what was normal to us is to get up early in the morning and go and follow the line so that you can get all those things, so you can actually make bread at home. There's no way you can buy it. Currency is very interesting. So if you have kind of like cents here, you kind of round it up. Okay. At that time, every cent mattered. It was devastating time. Absolutely. And I remember asking my mom, why we are always eating, homemade bread right now. And it's usually with jelly, we used to have a variety of different food. I just did not understand it. And she told me I still did not really understand it. And watching a lot of news, I must say that Europe is a little bit brutal when it comes to what kids are exposed to, and it's normal. That's one thing that I do not like. I promised to myself that I won't expose my kid because I know what it did to me. And you see it repetitively. So it really sticks with you. And news over there show different things than news here, there's no such a thing as we're covering this content, everything is very exposed. I had a pretty good idea what was going on. And you don't even question it. It's just normal.
When you were a teenager, you had to go through it all again, right? There was another war.
Correct. I did. Only that time, I was 13. At that point, actually, my city was bombed. So that was a harsher experience for me. You're put in a position where you are actually trying to think of how you can, make money. So that was my first sale that I did. It was toothbrushes, I had some toothbrushes that were unpacked, and I would actually ask my friend whose mom was working at this one firm if she can spread the word and sell it. And, mind you, that bought us a lot of bread, at the time, but it's nothing that, at the time, it's just normal. You're in a survival mode.
Because of all that turmoil early in your life, obviously that had to lead to one of the reasons why you wanted to try to come to America, right?
I'm very curious as a person. So that led me to come. And I told myself, I really left because, there was a lot of tension at home and I just wanted to leave. On the other side, I would say at times that I wanted to leave because I'm looking for better opportunity. My country would just not, but it really, I did not understand what I wanted. It's just one of those situations where, you just accept it. I mean, you really have no choice. At that point, when I was 13, when we had a second war that I remember, it was more harsh at that time because we were actually bombed. My city was bombed numerous times. We would be in a position, we would be on the street and the siren is going on. And at one point, you just don't even pay attention to that. It's like, okay, so they can bomb us right now. So we are under attack. So do you want to go in front of that church and go to that coffee shop or, it is crazy, but it's kind of normal. There are certain things you can't control. And it's okay maybe at one point to react like that. Well, I was, I didn't have kids, it's different responsibilities, of course. But there's a bigger message in all of that, and it definitely made a lot of impact in my life because I was older. Absolutely.
So many people might think because of all that turmoil, that's why you wanted to come to America, but that wasn't certainly the whole reason, was it?
No, not at all. Not that I wanted to experience it again, you know. You never know what can happen. I wanted to understand different cultures better because then I can reach out to more people. I understood the level of significance in media and how much you can make an impact in someone's life. And my dad always raised me to be, my mom and dad, to be a citizen of the world. And he always told me, once you leave your original home, there's nothing that should keep you anywhere else. You know, you go wherever you want, whatever you feel like you should go.
So I would imagine you remember the day that you first came to America. Can you talk
Yes.
about that?
Oh, yes. I would have to say that the hardest moment was the layover that I had in Italy, in Rome. I had to spend the night in Rome, and next day I'm flying to LA. That was the hardest day. And I was actually watching a movie when in Rome, and it just, that's when you realize what I just did, what I'm doing, what I'm about to do. And it's like, are you ready? I'm like, well, it's too late to ask yourself that question now. I'm very attached to my family. It's like, how dare I leave? Like, what made me think that I can do this? So it's big battle inside me. So then definitely getting to LA, meeting the family, we're complete opposites. But you know, that's what made it more interesting. That's why I'm like, why do you behave the way you behave? Why do you talk the way you talk? All kinds of questions.
So you got involved in the financial industry. Is that where it all started for you, or your career evolved into that?
You see, I always had a problem with math. I'm just not natural when it comes to math and numbers and economics. So I usually tend to do exactly not to just prove myself, maybe prove myself in the beginning, but whatever I think that it's that I need to do, I don't want anything to scare me or be on my way just because I don't know it. Then work harder. I realized that to be a female, you never know what can happen. To be independent, worst case scenario, you are raising a family by yourself. You know, how am I going to make sure that I'm going to be okay? I realized that being into the finance world is the way to go. Definitely way to go. But once I really, and I worked probably harder than a lot of other people. They're very just natural at math and finance. But once I understood that, I mean, that's an accomplishment.
Did you feel welcome when you came to the U.S.? And do you
Not by
still
everybody.
feel welcome?
Not by everybody. But I knew one thing. I knew that I'm coming as a stranger. You know, I met a lot of different people, even in my country, who we speak the same language, we have the same culture, and I was not accepted in a lot of ways. I was aware of that. And yeah, there are times when I wasn't ready, but there were a lot of issues, particularly my family with immigrants. You know, they had this idea of me coming over, and that's at least what I felt. You know, you were coming here through this program, we share a culture, we exchange cultures. After 10 months, you go back to your country, okay? And after going back and be living there for a while, then you can maybe come back here for whatever reason. But that wasn't my goal, you know, at all. I wanted to come here and figure out what is the legal way for me to just stay.
So now that you've been here for 17 years, you know, you mentioned the word immigration, immigrants. What do you say to critics of immigration that say immigrants take the jobs of Americans?
Those are very, very ignorant people who are not even trying. I mean, they're there to create just difference and point out difference between people, because that really doesn't make any sense.
You know, as the casting of this project was underway, we felt a stigma associated with the word immigrant. Some people did not want to be associated with that word because they said it had a negative implication. What does the word immigrant mean to Tanja?
It's something that's really irrelevant. Basically just explains that at one point of time in my life, I was born somewhere and then I came somewhere else.
So why do you think that immigration is such a big political issue?
Well, I do think that it has everything to do with politics, creating a distraction. I mean, I honestly believe that in order to control people, you just have to know how to manipulate them. To do that, you just create a difference, and you imply basically that if you're different, you're not accepted. So we have a problem.
Give me an example of someone who didn't treat you well, or didn't welcome you, or didn't give you the respect that you felt you deserved. Take us into that moment.
Well, I don't know if I can even take high school people here seriously, but I mean, in high school, I had friends who would make a comment, which probably they heard it from their parents or whoever, go back to your poor country. And I'm not trying to outsmart anybody. I'm trying to learn, really, and I'm trying to share ideas. I'm trying to connect. And they would just shut you down by just saying something that they heard, they thought it was cool, to make themselves feel better.
Did it hurt?
Well, I was kind of like, well, okay, nobody's here saying anything, for me, but that's how you learn, to be on your own, stand on your own, and believe in yourself. It feels good to have a support system, I'm not gonna lie. But I didn't let that happen.
It made you tougher, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yeah, but sad at the same time. Not necessarily tougher. It made me more sad than tougher.
After all that, do you believe in America?
If you were to ask me if I believe in America, it would make more sense. To believe in America, it has everything to do with politics. And that's not what my focus is, really. I'm focused on people. So people who live in America, immigrants, not immigrants, Serbian, not Serbian, it doesn't matter. I believe in people. So I believe in all the people who live in America. They have a choice.
There's a young woman who's in Serbia right now, and she's thinking of coming to the United States. What would you say to her, and what advice would you give her?
Do not make any plans or expectations from over there. Come here first, see it for yourself, because you don't really know what you're getting into until you pay taxes. You really don't know, what it takes to be American. I was also pleasantly surprised in the warmth of people.
Tanja, you came to the U.S. 17 years ago. Mm-hmm. What's been the best day for you in America?
I think it would be when I became citizen, May 8, 2010, I believe. And that was 7 years into me living here. It was just very, very emotional. It's a sense of belonging.
Yeah, and obviously it was an emotional day for you, because it's still emotional right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Being American changed for me, because again, I became a citizen of the whole world once I understood myself. I'm bigger. I feel that I'm bigger than being Serbian, being American. I'm being a good person that is not trying to be accepted at this point, but help other people find their meaning.
I would imagine if we all live by trying to truly help others, we wouldn't have as many problems.
No, it's the perception and the attitude, the reaction that you control, and nobody's thinking about that.
So even though you spent most of your time in the financial world, I get a sense that when you're not working in that area, you do other things to make sure you're making a difference, and it's outside that realm.
Yes, I do. I joined CASA, which is becoming child advocate. So you take cases and go to court and whatnot, and you're there for the kids. So that's one aspect of it, but it's not enough, I just work on myself, and just have to be a little selfish on that part, because really that's when I'm going to give my best to everyone else. So I have to invest in myself first in order to be able to give.
Have you thought a lot about this young girl, 5 and then 13, and especially when you were a teenager, having your area bombed, that you would be where you're sitting right now? Looks like you're in a pretty nice place there in San Antonio, Texas, one of my favorite spots, by the way, in the United States.
No, I did not. I did not think that no, because I didn't really know who I was, or I was trying to find myself, but I chose to be here. So that says a lot too.
Well, we're glad that you're there because you're a part of what we're doing here. And that means a lot to us. So thank you so much, Tanya, for joining
I
us.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.